Hi there, it's Dan West again, and a friend of mine talked to me just the other day. He said he saw my video, saw that I'm starting to get into YouTube. It's kind of a kick. I'm really new at this, as you can tell. And he was suggesting a project that I should think about doing. Some time ago, I built a shed in the back of the yard, about 2 years ago, I think. And it's actually for my wife's archives, because she's an accountant, and she has a lot of files to keep track of and keep for a certain amount of time. And I thought about it, and I made this thing already, but I took a lot of pictures. So I thought that what I might do is upload some photographs and just kind of talk you through it, because there's some things I think I can pass on to someone, who is either already in the trade or maybe is just a handyman, like to maybe do things for himself or maybe do things for others. But I think I can show you a few ways to do some things in this little simple shed build that might be worthwhile. Anyways, with that, we'll get right into it, and I hope you enjoy it and get something out of it. Drop me a line, tell me if you like it, no, yes, or you got some suggestions, whatever, or tell me it's no good. That's what it's all about. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. First thing I did is, of course, select a location for my shed. This shed is going to be 8 feet wide by 16 feet long. Now you're going to want to start setting up what's called batter boards, which are 1x3s, usually set up in a configuration to where you can pull dry lines and establish exterior dimensions. In my case, it will be the exterior dimensions. It doesn't always have to be exterior dimensions. It can be center lines. You're going to break out your holes, dig them out, and start preparing to put forms. Now, what I want to say here is this, in my opinion, is the most important part of any project, the foundation. And there are a lot of ways I've seen guys do this. They put it on bricks, they put them on rocks, they stick boards in a hole, they level their device later on. I'm going to show you a way. It's a little bit longer, but I think it's just foolproof, and it really does the job. By the way, you see that water jug there on the table, the red liquid? That's my water level. Sparkless bottle with food coloring and 3/8 inch plastic hose in it. And that hose can be any length. This hose happens to be 30 feet long, so that gives me a 60-foot diameter. But it could be any length you want to use, and it'll be accurate to the millimeter. After I've located my holes and dug out the proper size for the footing, I get my anchors and I attach them to boards, straight boards. And what I'll do is I'll level those up with a water level. You can see it in the second photograph that shows this water level. And you see that piece of wood going on an angle? That angle this is the traditional 3, 4, 5 triangle. You mark 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, and you will have a perfect square with that device. Now, this can be multiple of 3. It could be 6, 8, 10, 9, 12, 15, etc. And it's a good way to do all your squaring up of whatever it is to be squared. Now, as you see in some of these photos here with the anchors that are attached to these boards, taking in consideration how you are going to frame your girders, whether you use 4x material. In my case, I'm going to use 2x6s with a 1/2 inch piece of plywood in the middle to give me my full width. And I'm also going to interlock my ends. I'm not going to butt joint them. So that with that, in that picture right there, for example, you locate your hangers on that piece of framed wood that you've already squared up, and here later you're going to level using a water level. A water level, by the way, is my preferred method of using a leveling instrument, whether it's inside a building or outside. It's very accurate, and you can see it in the second photo in this a bunch of films I got here. I've owned builder's levels as well as transits, and I know how to use them very well. I've used them before in the past in heavy construction, but you just can't beat a water level when you're just doing, you know, things like this where it's within, say, a 50-foot radius or so. They're just extremely accurate, and there's no problem in setting them up. You don't have to worry about getting bumped off, out of level. It's a very good tool to have in your arsenal of tools. This early part of construction is really a little time consuming and well worth the time you take. If you make your structure there where you're suspending your anchors very accurate, very square, very located properly, the rest of your construction is going to be so much simpler, and it'll just make everything look so much nicer too. Now we're getting into the framing aspect of the building, and you can see the girders in place. And here, I might add, is where you might do some minute leveling if needed. I mean, you'd be using small shims compared to having to lift the whole structure from the get-go. I mean, all the major work is already done as far as your leveling. So you saw your joist hangers, here your joists in place. And we're getting into the basic framing, which is, not too complicated. 16 on centers. There's going to be a row of blocks going down the middle. Then comes the sheeting. I might stop right about here and tell you what I'm going to do in the framing aspect of this building. Here in California, you think of a shed as something that gets really hot in the summer, and this is going to be housing my wife's archives. If you take a look at this framing on the left side, I'm going to be putting probably 8 vents in the floor after I sheet this. The vent is going to suck up air, cool air from underneath the structure, because on the roof, I'm going to put one of those little round whirlybird type cans on top, and it'll actually suck cool air from underneath the shed and exhaust out the top, which will really keep this thing not freezing cold in the winter and not boiling hot in the summer. And that's exactly what it does now. It's pretty good way to cool anything. I even do this in my own home. I've got a pretty good subfloor, and I've got a system where it draws out the cool air from underneath the house through up into the attic, and it vents out the attic, so it keeps the attic fairly cool. So it's another way of gravity type cooling structure. From here on out, it's pretty much basic framing. I know it's a shed and you can go 2 on centers, but I go 16 on centers. It's a regular construction as if it was a regular building. And I put blocking in the walls. The roof's going to be a flat roof with a little bit of rake on it. Not much, just enough to, get the water off. You'll see the whirlybird thing I put on top for the ventilation. The outriggers, you'll also see where this is a good time to paint all your fascia boards, prime them, and put your finish coat before you start sheeting, because it's so much easier to do it now. Take the time to save yourself a lot of pain from painting up underneath the roof. Paint it down. I use, you can see I use 1 by, actually it's 111, excuse me, it's 111 siding with batten board trim on it, and I think it looks kind of nice. The door is from Lowe's, and it's a steel door of all things, pre-painted, ready to paint color. So I hope you like this little video log or whatever of a shed I built. If you have any other questions, please drop me a line. I know I kind of ran through a lot of details that I could have maybe covered better, but I don't know if anyone's even interested in something like this. If you do have questions, by no by all means, drop me a line, and I'll be more than glad to respond to it. With that, I'll just say see you later in the next one, and have a good day. Bye-bye.